Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about nuclear procrastination. Yes, that is correct. So, basically, the breakdown is today I thought about this idea because I decided, hey, I'm going to a party for a friend. It's his birthday. Hey, let's build a sword for him, and also let's make a cheesecake that we've never made before. So, I procrastinated the getting of the groceries, the making of the cheesecake, and the creation of an entire weapon basically within one day. And I did kind of draft out the sword. I made it out of cubes, and I did some light painting to it yesterday, but the reality is that most of it had to be done today. And I'm about to freak out because it is already 2 o'clock. And I told myself, well, as I woke up at 8:30, rolled out of bed, we're going to have to make the sword. We have to buy the ingredients for the cheesecake. We have to get the cheesecake made and figure out how to do that. We'll make a blueberry compote because there's cinnamon graham crackers in the base. It's not the best cheesecake. I have no idea if it's going to set. I've never done it before. And then at the same time, I also told myself we're going to make a video, edit it, and we're going to upload it on a channel because we also told ourselves that we are going to upload once every single day. Yes, that is correct. So, I've been doing really well with uploading, but I basically make a video every day, edit it, and then I upload it. And no, I don't script any of my videos. Somebody did ask that previously, and even with my most viewed video of me reacting to TikToks and stuff, I didn't script that video. I never script my videos. I think that it's boring, and also it takes up way too much of my time, and it's mostly like just my opinion and reactionary content and commentary, so it doesn't require a significant sum of research based on some of the knowledge that I already have, and obviously I make the disclaimer that I have no professionalism in any capacity. Now, I am talking very quickly because I am rather chaste, because I still have a bunch to do within the next 4 or 5 hours. Until I have to be completely ready for this party. And I told myself also today we're still going to work out because we also work out every single day. Yes. Now, this is all pertaining to a very specific topic, and that is the birthing of anxiety through procrastination. If you find that you are a commonly anxious person and you also tend to procrastinate a lot, it is a diabolical duo. It is something that will drive your soul and your mind to absolute insanity, and that is why I really do encourage you to just do it. Do not procrastinate if you can avoid it, because procrastination is one of the most evil things that will set you up for failure. It will make you constantly think about the things that you need to do while not getting them done. It will somehow burn you out while you're not even doing the task, and it also will waste your time. Procrastination is ironically one of the biggest time wasters, all while you are wasting your time while procrastinating. It's an endless loop. As soon as you start procrastinating, it's hard to stop because then you think, oh God, how do I do this thing? How do I create this experience, this object? How do I execute this performance optimally? And a lot of us actually overcomplicate things that are very simple, and that is why we procrastinate. Particularly, like, say you have a project or you have a book you want to read. Well, a lot of us will think about the entirety of the project, the entirety of the book that we have to read, the end goal. We don't actually think about the minute steps that can be executed to get us to the end without us being overwhelmed by the immense ending that it is. So, the best thing you can possibly do to avoid procrastinating is pick out what you are, with an issue with. Is it starting? Is it finishing? What is it? Now, a lot of us have no issue with starting things as much as we have a problem with finishing them. I have a bunch of projects that I have never finished. I've only created and finished one of my projects for my coloring books and my children's books. But at the end of the day, we also have other things, or I have other things, that I've tried to execute. Tons of swords, which I've made. There's one in the background right now. But the best thing you can do to avoid procrastination is a few things. One, figure out what you are doing. What is the thing that you are trying to execute? The project, the book, the study, the tasks of the day. And the best thing you can do is write a list pertaining to that thing and execute them all in a task-oriented setting so that at the end of the day or at the end of your goal, you will achieve it because you've broken down all the tasks to execute. A lot of us procrastinate because we also have no idea how to finish what we've started, and it sucks. So let's go through this. If you have a set amount of goals that you try to perform or a to-do list throughout your day, write it down, and check it off as you go. That filling out and checking of every single box as you go through your day, say it's to get up, do laundry, do this, work out, clean up, blah, 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 blah. You can even break the tasks down more if you want to complicate them even less. But in general, if you take a to-do list and you have it listed so that you have all of your tasks and you check them off as you go, it also assures your mind. It gives you positive reinforcement that you are doing things throughout the day. And even if you miss one of those tasks, look at it positively. Look at all the things that you did do. Or look at even one of the things you did. Because a lot of us don't do anything in a day. A lot of us will just waste time all day. We'll go onto TikTok, we'll watch TV, or we'll think about it all day long on the things that we have to do until the end of the day hits, and then we are disappointed in ourselves and beat ourselves up after having been fueled by anxiety for a series of hours about the things that we need to get done. It's terrible. But then at the same time, another thing I have to point out is if it's a long-term task, a long-term goal, still break it down into things that you need to execute to complete the task or the goal. And then execute them as you possibly can. Maybe one task a day, maybe one task a week. It doesn't matter as long as you perform the tasks. The worst part is, though, falling off the bandwagon and not performing the tasks, or not completing anything. And this is why I also recommend, if you can, get yourself some sort of a goal board, or write things down, like a to-do list, and then hang it up somewhere that you commonly reside, so that you can see what you're doing. So that you can see what you need to get done and how much you've completed, even if, say, you don't do these things again for another week. It's a reminder. It's there. I have a board right there beside me. It's where I put my to-do lists. It's where I put everything. My yearly goals, my monthly goals, my weekly goals, the things I need to get done. Tax season's coming up, by the way. That's been bothering my mind for God knows how long, which is why I kind of keep procrastinating on it, which is bad. So what I usually do is I just tell myself, we gotta do it. Better sooner than later until the last minute. I grew up in a weird situation where I would always procrastinate, and it only made me more anxious. I also grew up in a situation where people around me would procrastinate, and that also made all of us anxious, including me, even though it wasn't the tasks that I personally had to do. The more that you procrastinate, the more anxiety is built up to the ultimate moment, and then the disappointment and depression seeps in as soon as you realize or think to yourself that you have failed, and that you are a failure. It is the worst feeling ever. And I know this is a short video, I know I'm talking a lot, but the point I'm trying to make, and this is a very quick message to you, is do not procrastinate. Procrastination is one of the most damning things you can possibly perpetuate on yourself. And if it takes you just getting up a little earlier in the morning, or just finding a couple of minutes in the day to even just think about what you need to do and write that stuff down, you will not be procrastinating. You'll be looking at the things that you need to do, and you are figuring out the tasks you need to orient. And then, as soon as you have those listed things that you need to do, you can execute. And maybe you don't know how to execute them. Maybe they're things you've never done before, and they are complicated, they are complex, and they are confusing. You can still do it. Things take time. They just take laborious effort, input, toil. And it's better, in my opinion, to be driving the nail or having to work your butt off to figure something out than to think to yourself, oh my God, I need to do this thing. How do I do this thing? I don't know how to do this thing. What should I do? And it's the worst feeling ever when you're stuck. Because we as humans, in my personal opinion, need to constantly fulfill ourselves with our endeavors. We fall into states of depression when we just stagnate. Stagnation, and in an evolutionary sense, it does make sense. Stagnation is one of the most damning things as well that you can possibly feel as a human being on planet Earth. The fact of the matter is that when we stagnate, we feel like we are not progressing, that we are falling behind everyone else, and that we will be left behind, that we will fail, that we will never achieve anything because we are doing nothing. And it is the worst feeling. And I know I keep repeating, the worst feeling, but they are truly horrible feelings to feel, so you shouldn't feel them. Instead, you should try as hard as you possibly can to do everything you can in a day. I know I keep pointing out this book, but this book also tells you, hey, you could die tomorrow. You could die tonight. Do you want to remember your last day like it's like this? Do you want to think to yourself, man, I wasted the last day of my life doing nothing? And again, the other thing is, you don't even have to, do the tasks yet. Do anything with your day. If you are one of those people who finds themselves just wasting the whole day, just pick one thing, whether it's going on a walk, whether it's going to a park, visiting a friend, going out for a cup of coffee, going out for a dinner, treating yourself in some capacity, doing something outside of your, typical day. Outside of your typical day of maybe doing nothing. It will help. It helps you break out of that cognitive bubble. And it helps you think to yourself, I can do this thing, so why can't I do this thing if I make the time for this? And that's when we also get into the dangerous territory of prioritizing time. And prioritizing ourselves so much so that we shoot ourselves in the foot. Like we don't allow ourselves human pleasures. A lot of us love video games. Personally, that is my biggest thing that I discourage myself from doing, is playing video games. Unless it's with other people or something like that, where I feel like I'm at least making camaraderie whilst I do something. But if I'm playing a video game on my own, the only thing that will go over my mind the entirety of the time while I'm playing that video game is I could be doing something else. Why am I procrastinating? And maybe it's not. Maybe it's just for basic human pleasure. Maybe it's just to enjoy my day. I have a lot of trouble just letting myself enjoy a day. I'm usually fueled by anxiety thinking about all the things that I need to do with that day instead, because it's my final day. This book taught me that every day is my final day, even if it's not my final day. Now, again, Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, check it out. I don't own the book, but I love the book. It's basically my Bible, and I've repeated that time and time again, but I think it's a great book. But in general, the point I'm trying to make is procrastination is a breakable mindset. It's just a mindset. It's a mindset of you being fueled by anxiety and yet disappointed by your lack of execution. A feeling that constantly perpetuates a lack of enjoyment throughout your daily tasks that you might not be executing, and therefore not doing them makes your existence absolutely terrible. The other thing I have to point out is at this point in my life, I really have this anti-procrastination mindset, the just do it mindset, the figure it out mindset, because, when I got across the border from Canada, I really had nothing, and I had to figure out everything basically for myself because everybody else I knew was also trying to figure out their own lives. My whole family had things they had to figure out for themselves, and progressively, they've done it. So I have no excuses but to figure out things for myself as well. If I put myself in a position where I have no job, I have no, prospects, I have no executions, then I'm basically nothing. I don't have any power, I don't have any responsibility, I don't have anything. And, I know it's weird, but the fact of the matter is, even if it's just something simple like doing your taxes or, reading a book or whatever, the more you procrastinate on it, the more anxiety is going to be in your mind for that thing. And the more that thing crosses your mind, the worse you're going to feel, which is why I always say the best thing you can do is not procrastinate. And yeah, that also is a double-edged sword because sometimes if you even just stagnate slightly or have a slight moment of, slowness in your life, which is a complete normality, you might be anxious. You might feel constantly like you need to go, 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 or that you become a workaholic. So there's a grand balance to it. But personally, I do believe in the imbalance being more on the execution side than the non-execution side. Because if I'm going to be fueled by anxiety, I may as well be doing things while I'm fueled by anxiety. I may as well get things done even if I'm absolutely mind blown with my own fears, self-doubts, and anxiousness. So yeah, my people, that was the video. Thank you so much for watching. Do not procrastinate if you can. And also, think about the things that I've told you. Try to make lists. Try to write things down. Try to break down the tasks of the singular thing you're trying to execute, and then execute them on a singular basis. And check those boxes for assurance, because I assure you, my people, you can figure it out as long as you endeavor to progress, as long as you endeavor to exceed, as long as you endeavor to make some form of progress every single day. So, yeah, that's the video. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, my people. I hope you all enjoyed, and tell me what videos you want next. Anyways, that was it. So, yeah, Slater.